sitting down on a laptop for hours. I have a little break from work and I'm going to do a 50-minute stretch, and I thought, why don't I film it and you guys can follow along. I'll include some of my essential stretches that I do and the times that I hold the stretches to ensure that I'm always keeping up my mobility, which helps me be injury proof when I'm doing all my strength work. I always start with the easiest stretch first, which is simply breathing in and out using the whole of your chest. Using your arms as well not only gives it the yoga vibes, but it helps to expand your chest so you can breathe deeper. A nice hamstring stretch is attempting to try and touch your toes. I'm really bad at this. To be honest, with the amount I stretch and all the exercise I do, I should be better. The following stretches are just the ones that have come to mind. They're not the correct way of doing them. You don't have to do them in a particular sequence. But I'd been sitting down for a long time, so it just felt good to move about and try a bit of cat-cow. These movements can vary anything from what you would do in a yoga class to the warm-up and stretches you would do before trying out your resistance training or calisthenics training. I'm just programmed to stretching up my wrists and my hands, I think, from all the calisthenics stuff, because obviously your grip strength and your wrists are one of the most important components. Now, I've done a lot of flexibility videos as well, where I'm probably much more flexible in the videos. For example, here I'm trying to do a few bridges and stretching out, but because, like I said, this is a realistic view of me doing some quick stretches and movements in between sitting down for a long period of time, and so I've gone from cold, as it were. There's not been preliminary stretches or time spent in that particular position for me to be able to feel more confident in doing a complete split or a complete bridge. Also, side note, do you like my trousers? Because I really like my trousers. I know they're a bit Beetlejuicy, but I think they're cool. And they're so stretchy, they're perfect to wear. There are not many pairs of trousers where you can do this movement. Very proud of this. I think my hip flexors and my hips in general have very good flexibility and mobility. You can always make this movement easier by doing this tree pose with your leg bent or holding on to something if you do feel you can extend the leg. When you are doing leg stretches, it's worth noting you're always going to have a more dominant side. We always have a preferred side, so you'll see it's either my left or my right, depending on the move, but you'll be the same. Because I'm using my hand to stretch my leg up, it's more a flexibility rather than a mobility move, but still good nonetheless. It can sometimes feel like the movements aren't really making that much of a difference because I feel a little bit stressed knowing that I'm on a time limit. And so even though I'm trying to do these movements to ensure I'm moving my body and not just sitting on the sofa with my laptop, I'm aware that I don't have that much time, if that makes sense, and that makes me feel quite anxious, which isn't great. But I always say the rubbish workout is better than no workout. And it's also fine to take little breaks, such as putting on a ponytail or going to grab some water if you feel you need it, because some days we feel more energized than other days, and it's completely fine. I'm listening to my body. Now, you don't have to have yoga blocks, but they help. You can use anything at elevation that you have around the house. If you have some slippery socks you own, then this is the time to use them. If we're stretching for the splits, then of course I'm going to practice the front splits. This is where the legs separate from front to back as opposed to left to right. And you can see I'm trying to do the active stretch well until I fall on the yoga blocks and need to use my hands for them. But this stretch is fantastic because you can go as low or as high as you want according to your current flexibility. Remember, when practicing asymmetric moves, we always practice on the opposite leg too. One leg is inevitably better than the other. Look at me here. Almost got all the way down. I can get all the way down if I had a bit extra time, but like I keep saying, I don't have much time, and neither do you if you've clicked on this video because you want to do stretching in minimal time. I do a few compression ab exercises before working on other parts of the body. Again, you can slow down this video and follow along if you're interested, but this is just me moving and flowing in ways that feel good and nice. I'm not thinking about it too much. It's very casual, and I take breaks at whatever point I want. To get better at a movement, you have to practice sitting or being in that movement, like I am now in this squat position. Can you see that? Squat a little bit back. Yeah. It's a little bit more comfortable for me if you use your elbows to push your knees apart and sit like this. I mean, you don't have to be in a prayer position, but yeah, just widen those hips apart and try and sit with your back up straight instead of lunging over. For example, I like to squat with my feet facing out. It's far more comfortable for me. I do have a very thickened and rigid Achilles, which stops me from squatting with my feet facing parallel. It's moving in how you like to move, because you need to remember that you're not going to do these little nuggets of movement and these little exercise snacks if you don't enjoy being in those movements and flowing and moving around. I love to learn some animal flow and be able to move in between the movements I've done more fluidly and make it look more aesthetic. And maybe one day I will, but this was purely not to particularly look good or nice even to watch. This was for you to see how I feel I have to move in my little 15-minute breaks that I get in between meetings and when I just need to, you know, physically unwind before sitting in a static position for X amount of hours for my job. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao!